Growing Your Business, a series of podcasts brought to you by the team at Highlands and Islands Enterprise. Hi, in this podcast from Highlands and Islands Enterprise, we'll be focusing on leadership and management, taking a look at how these two areas can have an amazing effect on the growth of a business. You'll be hearing from business leaders working within this region and the thoughts of global business expert David Hall. There will also be the chance at the end of this podcast for you to win a brand new iPod with the complete Growing Your Business series loaded straight onto it. So make sure you keep listening to Growing Your Business from Highlands and Islands Enterprise. Let's start by listening to David Hall.
You've got to get the right people on the bus. Now I know this is kind of runs against some people's thinking, but I used to think when I first started as a consultant, get the strategy straight was job one, not job one. Get the right people on the bus. And I need the people on the bus who can produce results beyond that. So a question for you is, how often do people in your team produce results beyond your expectations? How often do they wow you? Yeah? And the wow doesn't have to be at the top of the organisation, it can be anywhere. So I'm working with a bank, an English bank, and they created a new strategy, and the CEO had done the usual thing, make a video about himself, telling everybody how wonderful he was and his strategy. My job was to evaluate what people felt in the branches about this new video of the new strategy. Didn't take long that, because I went to Rotherham and said, what do you think about the new video of the CEO of this strategy? They went basically, everybody was like fed up with it. It was boring. It was my strategy, me, I am wonderful, just on me agile and all that kind of stuff. Useless, basically. And so, but I noticed in this branch, there was a guy called David who was half blind, and he was on the switch. Now, typically in that branch, they would get 2 or 3 letters a week to the manager saying how brilliant it was to do business through this lad. And maybe 2 or 3 phone calls a week with the manager saying how fantastic it was to do business with this lad. Now, I've got a branch in York, I'll not rename them, but I know they don't get that. So here we have results beyond expectations at the level of the switch. And that's what we need in organisations. We need people capable, and you don't need lots of them, but you need enough of them, people capable of producing results beyond expectation.
That's business consultant David Hall on what he believes to be one of the main driving forces if businesses are to grow, making sure you have the right people on board. And as a manager, it's obviously your responsibility that you hire those right people. But it's not just the people, it's the culture too. And of course, this is also where managers and leaders have a vital role to play. This is Cranach Group's Alan Brown.
I think because the business, it was for a long time a restaurant on the end of the pier, and it flourished, I guess, quite quickly through the diving school and at Tasmania, and there was a whole lot of new challenges there. And the management of that, I guess, was all about communication. It was all about having a shared vision, and a lot of that went back, I guess, in its roots to some years ago when we first got involved with IIP. IIP is the Investors in People programme. Now we keep the principles of IIP very close to our heart in our business, and this idea of everybody knowing what the business is trying to do, everybody knowing what they can do to help make that happen, everybody knowing how the business is doing, and everybody knowing what help they can get if they need help to help them achieve what they're trying to do.
So for Alan Brown, communication from the management down is key to his business success. But it's just as important to know your staff's goals, where they see themselves going and where they want to be. As managers of a business, by putting in place programs and structures to help develop your employees' skills, you'll be keeping them motivated, and that can only be good for business. Alan Brown again.
I think the development of staff, keeping the vision on track is really an important issue. One of the things that we've looked at over the last few years is recruiting graduate placements, which is where people come and join us and they've got a degree that they don't necessarily want to follow through in that course. And so we've got the job then of bringing them into the company, seeing where they're going to fit and tailoring the package over a period of time to get them to the place where they make a contribution. So we've taken in somebody who's got a chemical engineering degree. They are now working in the dive school as a dive support technician, a complete change of discipline. We've taken in a gentleman who's got a legal degree. He's now gone into accounts and management. He's managing the boatyard up in Mallaig as well as doing part-time job in the accounts department. And a young woman who came back with a degree in English literature who wanted to go into marketing, and we've been able to take her through a distance learning course in marketing where she's had to go away occasionally to do exams and to do some intensive stuff, but basically does it all with a combination between support from the LEC, support from the local college and support from us as the employer.
How does a great leader go about their day-to-day work? Well, Raymond O'Hare, Director of Microsoft in Scotland, believes that truly great leaders have a unique set of characteristics.
Lots of ways of defining what's a great leader, but just in terms of the current sort of frantic business world and frantic deadlines and quarterly focus and so on that we have in the business world, great leaders don't just think about headcount or what the headcount is of their organisation. They actually think about their people and how they get the best out of the people. Great leaders do not make decisions on how much things cost. They make decisions and they focus instead on what are the benefits that you get from that spend that you might actually make. And great leaders always surround themselves by people who are better than they are. They're not afraid of talent, they're not afraid of creativity, and they won't stifle that kind of creativity within their organisation. Great leaders also, and this is quite an important one actually, and I speak from personal experience here, do not see the world just through the eyes of a spreadsheet, but they see it and they hear it through the eyes of their people, their customers, their partners. That's very, very important. And also, great leaders, probably finally, also recognise that we cannot achieve success without clear direction and a clarity of purpose that everybody in their organisation, every person can understand, relate to, and understand what their role is in doing that.
Well, that's it for this episode on leadership and management. It goes without saying that your approach to leading a team has a huge effect on the growth of your business. So it's important for you to continually assess your skills as a manager. After all, we never stop learning. So to learn where small changes to your approach could make huge changes to your business, visit the LearningWorks website at www.learning-works.co.uk. On there you'll find a number of tools and short tests available across all the areas we've been focusing on during this podcast, and that's also where you can register for the free prize draw to win a brand new iPod. Well, thanks for taking part. Next month we'll be taking a closer look at innovation and the effect it can have on rapid business growth.